Hi guys. Welcome back to HaryPhamDev channel. In this video, we're gonna customize the user's interface. First, at the homepage, we have a pop-up to login. If we click on this icon, this pop-up will appear. If we click outside, this pop-up will be hidden. Next, we'll gonna log into the system. Fill up the email and password. In the admin page, we create a new option, Manage all users. We split the main template into small components, such as header, navigation, and sidebar, by using EJS-includes syntax. That's what we do in this video. Let's get started now. To get started, we will first update the database. Open the migration file to create a user's table. I will update more information for the user. In the previous videos, the user only included basic information, such as name, email, and password. Now we will update the user contact number, gender, as well as description about this user. For the gender of the user, we will set the type to Boolean. If the user is male, the value will be 1, if the user is female, the value will be 0. For the description field, sometimes we have a very long description of the user, so the type of this attribute is text. Instead of using a string, it will be limited by 255 characters. Next, we need to update the user model to add new properties. Add the user's phone number, gender, as well as description fields. We start with phone number. The data types is string. Next is the gender. The data types is Boolean. Finally is the description. The data types is text. To authorize users in the system, I will create a new table named roles. System users will be divided into admin, doctor, patient, or counselor based on this table. We copy the user model, and paste it into this file. Then, update the model name to role. For this model, we only need the name attribute is enough. Remove other attributes, we only keep the first one. Change to the name attribute, the data types is string. In the migration directory, create a new file to create the roles table in the database. Migration create role. We copy the file user migration and update this file. Paste right here. We change the name from users to roles. Delete these fields. Change the name here, then update the first column to name. In order to be able to create tables in the database, I will run Sequelize CLI with this command. We need to delete the old data in order to update to add new properties to the tables. Select the tables, then drop alls. Refresh the database to check. Copy this command, then go back to the IDE. Open the terminal. Then run that command. We get this error because we haven't set up a Sequelize CLI global yet. To fix this, we'll reinstall Sequelize CLI with the global option. First we need to delete the Sequelize CLI from the package.json file, then run this command. Wait a moment for the system to update the new package. After it's finished, we'll try again with the command just now. When this process finished, if we check the package.json, the Sequelize CLI is gone. Run our command again by using the down arrow, then press enter. We still get this error because by default, Visual Studio Code doesn't support Sequelize CLI. To dress up, I will use git bash. Open the folder containing the code, then git bash in the source code directory and run the migration command. If you have the same results as yours, you have run successfully. To check the results, we need to open the database to see the new tables. Open the user table. Now the user has added new attributes, such as phone number and gender. To continue, we need to create a user to be able to log into the system. Move to the account registration page. Fill in basic information, update your password and email, then click Sign up for an account. Check the database. We have information of the newly created account. The next step, we will log into the system with the newly created account. If the login is successful, we will move to the user account management page. The next thing we will do, is to split the user interface into smaller files for easy updating and management. I will delete the unused files in the view folder. First, we delete the index.html file. Then comes create user.ejs. These files we used in the previous videos, but from this video we will no longer use these files. I delete this file as well. Then, in Users folder, create a new folder called Includes. This directory will contain the components that make up our main interface file. We will have a small file to store the style, CSS libraries, named header. Then the left part of the layout will be the sidebar. Next is the footer to store JavaScript's files. I will convert the CSS part to header file. I will move these style sheets to the header file, so select all these style sheets, press Ctrl X, to cut highlighted mutable text to the clipboard, paste into the header file. Remember to press Ctrl S, to save these changes. To be able to embed child files in the parent file, we need to use EJS syntax. Search with the includes keyword, which is exactly what we need. Using the include keyword will help EJS pair files together into one unified file. We paste the include syntax right here, then change the target file to the header. Save this file to check if our system is still working. Reload our page. We get an error, can't find the file name header. We get this error because we provide wrong path to the header file. Go back to our code and change the path to the header file. This time, we don't get that error anymore. We will do the same thing with the sidebar, the navigation, and the footer. We use the EJS syntax include to achieve that. Next, we will split the navigation into a new subfile. Cut and paste in the new file. Copy the include statement to incorporate the navigation. Do the same with the sidebar. The last part is breaking up the JavaScript files. Go back to the main file and update the include script statement. Reload the page to check. We did not have an error, which proves the file split was successful. After that, I will update the sidebar file again. Add a field called All Users to be able to see the list of all system users. Open the file router, web.js to update the new router. Use router.get, followed by the router name. This router will limit users, only users who are logged in can access, followed by the controller file to process this file. A new method is getAllUser page. Open the homepage controller file to update the new method. Delete the functions that are no longer in use and create the getAllUsers page function here. In this function, we simply render the manageuser.ejs file. Update the manageuser file. Run our project. To fix this, we need to remove the functions we are no longer using and export the newly created function. Now when we click on the newly created option, we can view a new page. The next step, copy the main file to the Manage User file. We will inherit CSS, as well as JavaScript libraries from main file. We just changed the body of the inherited child files. Update title to differentiate between pages. Updated navigation. Set one link / to be able to return to the homepage. In the content section, we will delete the charts, just keep the table to display the list of users. Save changes and recheck our website. This will be the interface to manage the list of system users. We will create a button so we can create a new account. Update the class as well as add a button as shown in the picture. When we reload the page, we will see a new button to create the user account. The next part we will do is delete the logout from the main interface. Instead, we will have an optional pop-up for the user to use when he or she wants to log into the system. When the user clicks over the website logo, a pop-up will appear so that the user can log in. Below the website logo, we create a new div. We set a new class for this div, for users. Inside this div, we add two anchor tag. One to get the Manage Users page, and the other for the login page. We update the href attribute and the text display for each tag. Once finish, reload the main page to check what we done so far. Now, we see these new texts beside the page logo. I'll add some CSS classes to make its look better. At the top of this file, above the body tag, we set the style tag to write CSS code. We update the CSS property for the ForUsers class. Set the display to none, in order to hide this div. Next, I add new class for this icon, with the name logo icon. I want that whenever we hover the mouse to this icon, our div below will appear with the CSS hover. Update our CSS code with the new class. We will Google with the keyword CSS hover display another element. We copy the syntax, then update our CSS code. Paste the block code right here. We use elements class instead of using elements ID. This code will make the for users div appear whenever we move the mouse above the logo icon. Press Ctrl S to save changes, then check our code. You can see if I hover the mouse to this icon, our div will appear. But a problem is that we can't reach the login or admin text. With the CSS option, we haven't shown the pop-up yet, so I'll use jQuery to do this. We will use the onClick event. If the user clicks on the logo, we will display a pop-up. If the user clicks on the pop-up, we will turn this pop-up off. When the user clicks on the logo, we will make the pop-up appear by removing the display none class, then adding the class displayFlex. The mouse up event will fire when the user clicks. If the user clicks outside the pop-up, we will hide the pop-up. We trigger the click event on the icon with ID logo icon. If a user click on this icon, we simply alert a message to know this function is working or not. We return a message hello world. Save changes, then reload our page. Click on this icon, nothing happens. It means the new function isn't working. We need to load the new function when our page is ready. So use the jQuery ready function to do that. We move this block code into the jQuery ready function. Save changes. Then check our page again. This time, if I click on the logo icon, I hope we will see the hello world message. Next, instead of showing the hello world message, I want to make our hidden div to appear. First, remove the CSS hover. Then copy this class name. We will use jQuery to change CSS property for this class. Inside the click function, we update the CSS code here. The jQuery remove class function will remove a CSS class. An add class function will add a new class to the element we choose. We remove the display none, then add the class displayFlex to show the hidden div. We also update the mouse up event function. Update the selected element with the class name for users, so that if we click outside this element, our div will be hidden. Save changes, then check our page. Reload the page, then click on this icon. Still didn't work? We don't have any typo error. Let's change the jQuery function to update CSS code. This time, our code is working fine. Click on this icon, the hidden div appear. Click outside, that div will be hidden. This is the result we achieved. In the next video, we will add, edit, and delete user information. If there is any error in the coding process, please comment below the video for me to know and support. Thank you for watching the video and see you in the next videos.